Let's see if I can do this video. It is 9:02, and I thought I was going to be hearing from my student this morning. He left me a message asking if he could call. Usually the call is at 9 my time. It's 3 over there in the Netherlands in the afternoon this time, but I called and no one was there. So this may get interrupted with a call, may not. I really enjoyed reading the feedback on the Buddy Miles. There was one person who wrote a corrective story. I went ahead and erased it because I told what I wanted to tell. And I actually knew that about Mike Bloomfield, but I think the perspective that I gave regarding black musicians and Buddy Miles was important. And so that's the story that I'm telling. The other person, if they want to shine a light on Mike Bloomfield, and what he said is true, you make a video. It did take away from Buddy, in my opinion. It did. It's like, let's shine a light on these fantastic people. Let's shine a light on big badass Buddy Miles. And some people brought up some other bands, from the past, black mixed bands, and that wasn't the point. The point I wanted to make was about Buddy, specifically, and the Chambers Brothers. Those guys were giants and do not get the recognition they deserve. Okay? So I see here that even though, again, I'm full to the brim, there's just people lining up wanting to connect. And bless you people, I am not going to connect because people are looking for long conversations. And, if this reveals the negative side of my personality, then so be it. I'm not interested. Okay? If we were in person, I would take the time. But I'm a counselor. I am naturally and also by trade. And listening to people is a skill, but it's also tedious. That's why you have to pay people to listen. Okay? I have a lot of experience. And after a while, listening to people's problems, it's like taking on, it's like getting plaque caked onto you. Even though you're just listening, in order to listen well, you have to engage with it. So I'm just keeping up my boundaries, regarding people, whether they like it or understand or not. So I'm just going to show some records that are still sitting out. Some of these are from the second part of my order, which is actually the third part of my order from Laser's Edge, and I'll show those as I go through here. I do appreciate you all of you folks. Again, I want to just say that if there's a part of me that seems prickly, then it is, okay? I'm human, all right? Stereolab, early album of theirs, Peng. I love the very first song on here in particular, Super Falling Star, is so pretty. Recorded myself playing bass along with it last night just because I was enjoying it so much. Peng, Stereolab. Here's one that has created conversation in the progressive rock groups online. This is Wigwam's first album, Hard and Horny. When it originally came out in 1969, it only came out in hand-drawn covers. Then this came out in 1970, but you can tell the 1970 pressing by the label, which is not this one. It's on Love Records, but it's an early version of the Love Records design. So whenever this was released, there's no date. But this is still early and rare. And this is a really good album. It's laid back. It gets called progressive rock, but this is kind of jazzy and country. And just really it has a nice feeling to it. Eloy, another one that brought up some conversation online about, is this real Eloy or not? It's only one person from the band, la la la. I don't particularly care because I'm not a big Eloy follower. This album just happens to be good, especially the last song on the album, Dreams. It's a very good track. I didn't even notice the fact that the drums are programmed until people started bitching about it online yesterday. Then I listened and said, well, whoever programmed the drums did their job because it doesn't distract. It does its job. I've been listening to that album for years and really paid no attention to whether or not the drums were programmed. It's a good song, good album. Brilliant song, Ryuichi Sakamoto and David Sylvian, Forbidden Colors. Just an amazing collaboration. What's interesting is I was sharing with you about Thalem McDonough recently, that musician that I met and told you about. I get a message from him saying he recently made David Sylvian's acquaintance, and they've been getting to know each other. But what was interesting, he said they aren't talking about collaborating. How cool is that to become friendly with someone like David Sylvian? Played this yesterday almost all the way through, and it still works. I had to learn how to like this band because I didn't like him at first. Porcupine Tree, Fear of a Blank Planet. This came out, I guess, 17 years ago yesterday. So people were showing it online. This is the limited edition version. I really got into this band, and at the time that this came out, I had the money, so I bought blue vinyl. It's numbered. I like the music on here, and I like what he's saying about society, and it's true. We are on a blank planet, and this COVID-19 epidemic situation is really bringing that into relief. We can go many different directions. We'll probably just end up going back to the way it was, unfortunately. I'd like to see us make some positive changes. Here, I've shown this before, but this is, I think, one of David Sylvian's best. I mean, his albums are great, but this one, Words with the Shaman, these two tracks are just excellent. With John Hassel, Holger Zukai, and his brother Steve Jansen. Visionary work, it is. I was told that Big Star 1000 is back online. I haven't checked yet because I'm not into watching videos. It got me to make videos, but I seldom watch videos because I'm really not interested. And I don't mind sharing that is part of who I always have been. I make friends with people easy, and I share company well with people, but I am fine by myself. I don't find myself clamoring for other people's company very often. So I'm not looking to watch other people's videos. And I'll probably eventually check in on Fred. I'm just glad for whatever reason that he's decided to make a video. He was very inspiring to me in the early days of the VC, Big Star 1000. And I always think of him when I play Sven Libaek music. This is Solar Flares. Sven Libaek was a composer who did a lot of movie and TV and library music. I love his music. I just love this music. It was great for watching the snow yesterday. Nik Turner from Hawkwind made this album, Xitintoday, in the 70s with Steve Hillage and Arthur Brown and some other folks. Sort of a treatise on the pyramids and that whole bit. This was just fun to listen to. I really didn't pay attention to the geeky words, because it's all about Egyptology. The music's great. And on here, there's a Steve Hillage solo that I like because he doesn't do the blues thing. Love it. Faust versus the hip-hoppers Dalek. I've never seen Faust, but I've seen Dalek. I got to see them when I did South by Southwest the first time, whatever year that was. I went to their showcase. They were really good. And this works. But interestingly enough, the least interesting thing is when Dalek starts to rap. It's the marriage of the sounds. And when they bother to play a beat, that part too. It's the music that interests me. It is. Okay, so here's one from my order that came in from Laser's Edge. I've been interested in wanting to own a record by this band, even though I don't really like them that much. But I wanted one of the records, so I had the opportunity to get a reissue, so I did. The Italian band The Trip, Time of Change. They have an interesting, convoluted story. There was foreigners, or I think some American was involved with this band. keyboard-oriented band, Time of Change. This is kind of in the Emerson, Lake and Palmer school of flashy, kind of show-offy, oh, look at how good I can play the keyboard sort of thing. But there's interesting parts, some good compositions, and then where's the CD? It comes with a CD as well as the album. There it is. And then there'll be these parts where the music is really original and cool. And then there's the pretentious parts with the vocals. Comes with a CD as well. I'm really glad I got this though. These albums, when you see them, blue vinyl, they're so expensive to find the originals on RCA from Italy. So I knew what I was getting. It won't be an album I play a lot. But quite honestly, it was just something I wanted. I wanted to have this in my collection. If I could get more of their albums, would I buy them at a reasonable price? Yeah, I would. I like this enough. I listened to some more Wire. Silver Lead came out in 2017. I'll tell you what, since getting Mind Hive, their latest album, and really getting into it, it has brought these more recent albums into better perspective for me. This is good. This is good. Here's another one from the Laser's Edge pack. This album makes me think of Rob Paniques. Are you watching, Rob, in Boston? How you doing? My Italian friend who I've never met. This is a rare Italian album that I've been wanting forever. You can't find it. L'uovo di Colombo. This is another one of those keyboard workout albums. But it's led by, I think, a couple of brothers. And it shows. This is good. This is another one where it's a reissue on a beautiful blue vinyl. This is, again, like I said, a kind of a keyboard thing, but less so like the Trip. This one is musically more satisfying overall. L'uovo di Colombo. I guess they only made this one album. The Italian School of Prague, though, I like it very much. Okay, been wanting this album forever, and when it came out, I just missed the chance to buy it. Patrick Gauthier, who is now a friend of mine, who was in Magma, left Magma to start this band, and I'm glad he did. I wish they had done more than one album. Weidorje. The story explains this painting. I never understood the painting. That's supposed to be a spaceship. I couldn't tell what it was. This is wonderful Zool. Magma music is called Zool music. This is fantastic. Really strong. It's in the Magma vein, but it's not Magma. This is really, really strong, really powerful. So glad I was able to get this on vinyl. I've had it on a burned CD. Like I said, I'm familiar with the music. It's just so much more fun to play the music and look at the cover and look over and see the record spinning and just all of that. Yeah, I'm a geek like that. A couple more from the order. Been wanting this forever. I've had it on CD. Again, it's one of those where the originals are very expensive, so you never see them. But this is a cool album from Germany, My Solid Ground. The first track alone, which is very simple, but the way that the organ captures it, completely captures, to my ears, that whole era of what we call krautrock. My Solid Ground. And then this is actually a hard rock album. After that, they rock out. This is really good. From some small town in Germany. My Solid Ground. I still remember finding the CD, Second Battle CD reissue of this in Minneapolis. I remember being excited to find that years ago because this is way cool. Way cool. My Solid Ground. I have one more. one more from the order. Canadian band, Morse code, really good. They started out hard rock, then they went progressive and really well. This is definitely in the Genesis keyboardy era, but this is good. The Marche de Hommes. So that's what I want to show you today, folks. How are you all doing? We're just continuing. The president is trying to open the country back up. I don't know what to think. I'm staying hunkered down because I sincerely hope we don't have what has happened in the past, where people get stir crazy and they ignore the lockdown and they go out and act like everything's normal, and then you get the second wave of death. I hope that doesn't happen. It could, though. You saw those protesters. Where was that, up in Michigan or wherever? It's just strange times. These times definitely bring out what we're really made of. You know, whether or not you're a decent person or whether you're scum of the earth, you know, and some people are really falling apart and taking it out on others. And that's just always wrong. It's just always wrong. So, as always, I'm interested in your thoughts. Please try to understand, if you try to come over here and say something kind of funny, but I don't know you, I may completely miss it. I think sometimes people do leave comments trying to be funny, but since there's no relationship with this person, I have no context to put it in, so I don't know if you're joking or not, and so I delete it, okay? If you happen to be one of those people who's had your comments deleted and you're wondering why, I'm not interested in humor here, and humor does need context, okay? It does. One more thing that I will share that maybe some of you don't understand, and maybe you won't, even though I tell you, but I'm going to tell you. Another reason why I may seem like I'm a little prickly and I won't say thin-skinned, but you can come off that way. But the reason why I push back when people say certain things is because of a life that I've lived. I'm almost 65 here in America, where being black, your intelligence is questioned. And when you're not on the receiving end, you don't see it. But I have been dealing with it since childhood. I deal with it almost every day online. I'm not imagining it, because when I confront it, it comes out, especially in some people. Because some people will come across like they're supposedly trying to help you, and then you tell them kindly that's not needed. Then the knives come out, which was really what they weren't trying to help, you know. And I can really catch it a lot. I just had an interaction on Messenger where this guy was really just push, you know. And then he said, well, you're not the person I thought you were. You don't know me. And just because you're not getting what you want doesn't make me a bad person. I say I'm onto that stuff. I understand psychology to a degree. And so this has a lot to do with my stance as a dark-skinned American, of just dealing with, like I keep saying, the double standard of not being seen by the world the way that the white race is. It sucks, okay? So that's where that comes from. It's real, and it's based in experience, and it's just something I deal with, so you'll have to deal with it when I talk about it.